Hey everyone, we got to talk about the goaltending situation in the NHL, specifically with Elvis Merzlikins and with Jacob Markstrom. I'm in the process of moving into a new place, so I'd usually make the video at my setup and have the tweets, have the clips up, but I'll link some stuff in the description. But just quickly talking about it, and I hope you guys stick around to the rest of the video because I want to cover a couple of things here. One with Merzlikins, just his role with Columbus. He came out to the press conference, well, more of just an interview, media availability, and he just kind of talked about how he's not going to be the number 3 goalie. He is a number 1 guy. He worked hard physically and mentally in the offseason, and that, at the end of the day, his representation, his agency, talked to Jarmo Kekalainen and talked to the management at Columbus, and that they're going to find a new scenario likely for him. So Kevin Weeks, actually on Twitter, Kevin Weeks we know is a decent source, has a lot of his own sources. So I think we can trust Kevin Weeks in that. Jacob Markstrom, there's a lot of conversations around him, and there's a lot of conversations around Merzlikins. Kevin Weeks hasn't said that himself, but insinuating it, and there's been a lot of conversations around other media and hockey people. And for myself, I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff around Merzlikins this year, more so than Markstrom, but I think Markstrom and Kevin Weeks throwing it out there, I think we can trust that. So there's a few things here to consider. One with Merzlikins, his contract is heavy. You're talking about over $5 million per year. So that cap hit is not easy just to take on. I think there's been conversations with teams like New Jersey or Toronto. New Jersey probably would be the better fit for Markstrom because I don't think Columbus wants to trade in division. But for like Toronto, you'd probably see like Samsonov go back the other way. Or New Jersey, you'd see Vanacek go the other way. I think with Carolina, you'd see probably just by default Ranta go the other way. So I think for Merzlikins, there's a few teams out there. I've talked about Edmonton and Toronto in the past. I think those two teams are a fit. I also think that if there was another creative trade to be made, just maybe, and again, I'm probably reaching on this one, a team like Anaheim, if they want to do a contract in, a contract out with Columbus, both teams that are struggling, both teams that are lower in the standings, it wouldn't really be like acquiring a guy to improve. It would just be swapping scenarios. For a team like Anaheim, they might move on from John Gibson. If they do that, they'd have this space for Merzlikins. So that's another example, and maybe they could go in that direction. I would also throw another team like Ottawa. Again, similar situation if they want just to change the scenery for goaltending. So there's different scenarios here. I would also go as far as like, just to say for a guy like Markstrom, there's going to be probably a lot of Eastern Conference teams that maybe turn towards Markstrom, and then Western Conference teams turn towards Merzlikins. I don't know if Toronto would be in on a guy like Markstrom. I think there's a couple scenarios there. I think they've been so heavy on Chris Tanev in Calgary that I think either it would be both Tanev and Markstrom going to Toronto and then contracts the other way, or it's just not going to work out with Trey Living because the Flames want too much. So I would say more so Markstrom, teams like Carolina, New Jersey, and if I could throw a third team out there, I mean, I would Ottawa, just in terms of Eastern Conference. In terms of Merzlikins, again, maybe Toronto, but if we're focusing on Western Conference teams, I would think Edmonton's at the top of that list. Past that, I can't really think of too many Western Conference teams that need a goalie. Like if you look at the top of, so I mean, I think Jeff Merrick threw this out there just for fun on 32 Thoughts. I mean, Elvis, Merzlikins, Elvis, Vegas. It's pretty cheesy, not gonna lie. But in terms of Western Conference teams, Vegas, Vancouver, Colorado, Winnipeg, like you go through those teams, Dallas, they don't really need a goalie, right? There's only a few teams that are in the race in the Western Conference that could use a goalie. Edmonton specific. Past that, the Kraken had an injury, obviously with Grubauer, but then Decor's been buzzing. So there's not many Western Conference teams that need a goalie. So unless the Flames were wanting to trade with Edmonton, most of the teams anyways are in the Eastern Conference to trade with. So Columbus might just have to accept the fact that if there's not Western Conference teams looking at Merzlikins outside of Edmonton, then they just trade maybe to an Atlantic Division team, and that's where I do go to a team like Toronto. So keep an eye on that. But again, I think there could be a package deal involved. So like Columbus has an excess of defensemen, so it could be like Merzlikins and a D-man, or Calgary, it could be Markstrom and a D-man. I think that's relevant for teams across the board. Look out for Carolina. I know there's been conversations of Orlov not working out perfect there, so I'm kind of just going across the board here, but I think there's different scenarios of teams packaging a D-man goalie for maybe a D-man goalie and become a bigger deal. So What do you guys think on the Merzlikins situation? Drop your comments down below. I hope you guys stuck around to this point of the video. If you did, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. I think the Merzlikins one's more pressing, but as many people are putting out there, I think Markstrom could be in the news as well. So subscribe, like, comment, notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.